Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today's video is my third update in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan for 2022. Another exciting update, I will be rolling in a new eyeshadow shade today, so stick around to watch that. If you're not familiar with the Pan Those Eyeshadows project, I can give you a really quick synopsis, but basically I have all the eyeshadows in my collection right here on my computer screen in an Excel doc, and then I basically have them sorted by those that have pan on them already and those that don't, and I randomly select 5 eyeshadows from the shades that don't have pan on them already and then work on them for at least 20 times or until I hit pan. I have hit pan on 2 shades already in this project, and today I am rolling out one of the shades that I've worked on for over 20 times. So trying to keep things fresh and new within my project by either hitting pan or when something I feel like 20 times is enough, rolling it out at that point. So good stuff all around. In addition to having all the shades and stuff listed out in the spreadsheet, I also have some numbers that I like to go through at the top of each video. Now the numbers haven't changed actually from last month because I haven't added any eyeshadows to my collection, and like I said, I haven't hit pan on any eyeshadows, but I still think it's interesting to just chat through what they are. So I have 204 eyeshadows in my collection. 17 of those eyeshadows are single shadows and 187 of them are within 11 different palettes in my collection. I have 17 eyeshadows that I've hit pan on, and so my pan percentage is 8.33%. I'd like to hit 10% by the end of this year, so fingers crossed we can keep up the momentum that I have going and also not add a ton of new eyeshadows to my collection. And so that means we still have 187 eyeshadows that are eligible to be selected for this project. Before we select our new shadow, let's chat through the shadows that are still in this project pan. The first coming from my Alamar Spanglish palette, this is the shade Muy Excited. And I use this shade by far the most this month. I used it 21 times. And I used it a lot as a crease shade. I would actually mix the orange and the brown in this palette to create the crease shade that I used most days. And then some days I would just lay this totally on its own, kind of just did a one shadow look, blended it up into the crease, laid it down on my lid and went like that. Sometimes I would add a liner from some of my other shades that I'm working on, and sometimes I would add ColourPop Super Soft Shadow in Frog on top of it. I use this shade in a lot of different ways and I really enjoy this shade, but I feel like, and you'll see in the close-up of the palette, I feel like it looks like I've made no progress whatsoever, which is kind of crazy because I feel like I've used it a lot over the last 3 months, but I still think it's a great shade to be working on, so I'm going to continue pushing through and using it. The next shade comes from my ColourPop So Jaded palette, and it is the shade Sapphire. It's this blue right here. As you can see, it's a much lighter blue than what comes across in the pan, and I struggle honestly to use this shade. I only used it 3 times. I absolutely followed your advice, someone left in the comments, to like layer the glitter on top of it. So same thing that I was doing with that ColourPop Frog eyeshadow that I was doing with Muy Excited, I've been doing with Sapphire, but it's just like not my favorite, and I feel like it's really patchy. Like when I try and layer it all over the lid, it just feels really patchy. So certainly not one of my favorites to work with. I wore it 3 different ways. I think the one time was just along the lower lash line. I think another time I wore it all over the lid with the glitter on top. And then the last time was just like a liner on my top lid. But again, like not a huge fan of it. So I'm going to continue working through it, see if I can figure out a way that I really like it, but it's not been my favorite to work with. Granted, I don't mind like how the looks end up turning out, but it's just been challenging, I feel like. Next one comes from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, volume 2, and it is the shade right here, Positivity. I used this shade 5 times this month. This one also has been a bit of a challenge because it is such a bright coral shade, and I have a hard time wearing something like this when I'm like working. I've found ways to incorporate it 5 different times, but it's not been the easiest shade to work with either. It's been something that I've like layered and I've mixed with other shades to make it work, but on its own probably won't get a ton of usage, but that's that's not to say that I won't necessarily figure out a better way to use it. I just haven't gotten there yet. But then again, I feel like I've been really devoting like my efforts in this project to Moi Excited and then the other two shades that I'm going to talk about today. So maybe once I like regroup after this update and then settle on some shades that I like really want to focus on, this might bubble up to the top. The next shade comes from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette volume 1, and it is the shade right here called Cran Apple. As you can see in the close-up, I have a huge dip going on in this one. I'm hoping to hit pan on this one by my next update. I used it 13 times this month. I'm wearing it today as the all over lid shade. I've worn this a lot, just in a variety of different ways. A lot all over the lid, a lot in the outer corner, on the lower lash line, layered on top of something, layered underneath something, just trying to make it work, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's a really pretty shade. Like I said, I have a big dip going on in the shadow, so I'm hoping next month I can make some really good progress and get another pan out of that one. That is the goal, that is the focus, so you're gonna continue to see this one rank as like one of my top used ones because I have that focus. And then last, the shade that I'm rolling out is my Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette, and it is the shade Memory Sequin. I used this shade 10 times this month, mostly as a liner, and that brings my total usage on this shade up to 21 times total, which passes the threshold I have set to be able to roll something out. And as a result, I am gonna roll this one out because the usage on it is so minimal, just dabbing a little tiny liner brush in there, that I feel like it would take me forever, like way past this year, to hit pan on it. And that just doesn't seem like a ton of fun. Like, this project is supposed to be super fun. So that's kind of why I rolled in that 20 usage minimum roll. And so while my goal is always to hit pan, I am going to allow myself to kind of take that out on this one, which I think is okay. So I am going to roll something new to replace that one. And I will say, like, I'm really glad I got 21 uses out of that shade. I think that's great work on that one. I don't think I really had touched it before, maybe only 1 or 2 times, if that. I can definitely count it as a win for that. Like, I was pulling for this palette, I was pulling for that shade when I really never have. So all around good stuff, but let's get to the even better stuff, which is rolling in a new eyeshadow shade. So my rows are 22 to 208, and I'm gonna shake it and see what we get. 24. So I'm actually thrilled about this selection for a few reasons. The first is that it is a single eyeshadow, which is so exciting. I feel like I always roll the same palettes in this project. The fact that I didn't roll in the same palette that I've been rolling in and that it's a single shadow is super exciting to me. And secondly, I worked on this in my Shop My Stash, I think it was last rotation. So already feel like I know how I like to wear it. I've been kind of wearing it with some of these shades already. And I mean, third, it's a absolutely stunning eyeshadow. And I don't know if I even said the name of this. Sorry, this is my Kiko Milano 200 eyeshadow. I think it's such like a pretty shape. A lot of product in here. As you can see, it kind of has like these waves and ripples, and there's a big hole, but that hole is just the design of the eyeshadow. I haven't worked through that much shadow, but definitely will probably be focusing on going down through the center of that hole. But let me swatch this. That's that right there. So like I said, it's an absolutely stunning shade. I think it really opens the door for us right here on some more versatile looks. I think this is gonna be a great like all over the lid shade to pair with some of these other ones. Maybe sometimes like an inner corner. I could use this as like the center of a halo eye. So I'm just really excited that I rolled in such a versatile shade and a little bit more neutral, because I've been getting some rather colorful shades recently. And as I head back into the office, this one's gonna be ideal to work on because I feel like I can wear it every day. So all in all, I'm super excited for rolling this one in. Big fan of this. So as I did in my last video, I'm actually gonna jump till tomorrow when I put on all of these shades for my eyeshadow look so you can see them all together in action. I probably won't wear them all together again after tomorrow. Actually, you never know. Maybe I'll create something that I absolutely love, but I hope you enjoyed this part of the video. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the video, and let's jump to that right now. Hi, so it is the next day and I am here ready to create a look with all 5 of my shades. Super excited to put something together feel like I was being a bit negative yesterday by saying like, I'll never wear this look that I put together again, because you never know. I could end up loving it. So I'm gonna start with my crease. I'm gonna pull some Way Excited and this shade. I've been mixing these a little bit and just get that into my crease. All right, and now I'm gonna pull a little bit of Positivity and pull that up a little bit above where I just placed those other two shades, just to warm up this crease a little bit more. I used to do this a lot with like a yellow. I learned that from Jaclyn Hill actually, so trying it with this warm coral and see kind of what the effect that it gives us. Next, I'm going to grab Sapphire and work that into my inner and outer corner to make a little bit of a halo eye. And I've talked about this a little bit in these videos, but I have a hard time with this shade because I feel like it's patchy, and so it doesn't look quite the best all the time. Okay, not in love with what I've created so far, but next I'm going to take my Kiko Milano eyeshadow in 200, plop that in the center of the lid. The shade is stunning, and I feel like it's really helping to save this look. I'm gonna go back to the brush that I had the blue on. I'm not gonna add any additional shadow. I'm just going to blend. And then this is the original crease brush, and I'm just gonna do more blending up into the crease. And then for the lower lash line, I'm gonna pick up Morphe Crayon Apple and just drag that along my lower lash line. I'm also gonna go back into the Kiko Milano shade and add that to my inner corner and drag it up just a little bit. And then I'm gonna finish it off with some liner on my waterline and my tight line. I'm going to pop on some mascara and I'll be right back. All right, so this is the look. I think I was right in saying that I don't know if it is my favorite, but what I do know is I am so happy we rolled in the Kiko Milano shade. I feel like I just have so much more versatility with the other eyeshadows having this in my project. So yeah, super excited about that. I do love how that shade looks on the lid. I'm not sure about the blue with all the other shades. You guys know how I feel about that blue, but we're gonna keep it moving on that. We're gonna keep it moving on all the shades. Hopefully we'll hit some pan next month. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.